What?
No, let's...
No.
You know what's funny? Is now I'm starting to, like, add the pieces of us talking.
At the beginning?
At the beginning, because, I don't know.
It's
They
candid
amuse
and fun.
me.
They're amusing.
And also, I never know when to actually start the show, because we always just roll, hey, how we're doing? Yeah, we're on the show. See, I'm going to use that now. So, hi! Welcome to the Cunhas and Gane Show.
I feel like I'm super close to you, Dave.
We
today.
are today.
Is that problematic?
Well, because I find like I go way over that way. And
like way over
seriously,
there. Like it's like
it's way over there. But when I go over here, then my face gets all stretchy. So then I want to, come a little closer. Hi!
Hi, holy, that startled me.
Now I'm going to have to drop
it's
my
like
levels.
the moment when you hold
a
a baby and you're a little loud and you give them that little startle. That's how I felt.
Okay, so my wife has told me that last week's show was way too long. It was 35, 40 minutes, something like that. And I seriously thought we had just rolled through that. We were out, we were done, moving on. But we aren't. So now we have to keep it hopping. And I tried to get my wife in here and she had to go do stuff. Like run kids around.
So we're alone again.
So we're alone again.
Trying to figure this out from this side of the camera.
Yeah. So we are Cunhas and Gane. I'm David Gane.
I'm Angie Cunhas.
And we are the writing team who have done Along Comes Wolf, Shepherd's Watch. And we are coming out in a couple of weeks with Wolf in Shepherd's Clothing.
Yay!
And it's all about two teenage boys who chase serial killers. Yay!
Yay!
I don't know why.
Well, they catch the bad guys. That's awesome.
Well, we hope so.
Oh, sorry.
They may,
Put that away.
Yeah.
My bad.
Anyways, so that's what we do. And we just, on this show, we talk about just about the process of writing, working with a writing partner. We talk a lot about our favorite things. We bring on food. We talk about our favorite, I don't know, readers of the week. And we also answer, what I want to kind of open up, we answer questions. We ask you guys to send in hashtag Ask Cunhas and Gane questions on Twitter and Facebook, and on the post, on the blog post, if you see it on here. But I really want to open this up because we always kind of treat it to just our readers. And if you're a writer and you watch this show or you want to write or something like that, I really think if you have questions for us, I'd really love to answer those kind of questions. That's kind of my passion on the sidelines is I teach writing and I teach script writing. And if I could, I would turn this into like a sideline business for us. Ange and I have always said if we get an office /store /storage space / workspace, we would definitely do classes out of there and stuff like that. Well, I would do classes. I'd just push you to the side and take over the space. So much for partnership.
You signed a contract, honey. You're kind of stuck with me.
Hey, as long as I'm bringing in the money, that's all that matters, right?
No, I was like,
we're in basically a marriage, right?
Last episode, I said I'm a ponderer. So you said what you said, and I was like, I'm pondering.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, so that's why I need the big space over there.
Gets a concussion.
Yeah, I actually came close to hitting my head there, so...
I'm a certified first aider.
And my wife's a nurse, so we're all good. So yeah, if you have questions like that,
jerk,
please.
I totally just pushed
I know, it was funny. It was good content. So if you have questions for us about writing, really, honestly, I'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was actually at Slate Gallery for an opening a couple Thursdays ago. It was awesome, total fun. And the friend I went with introduced me to the owner, and he mentioned that I write.
Yeah.
And she all of a sudden, cornered me, not in a bad way, it was awesome. And she started asking questions, and then she apologized for questioning me. She said, I'm so sorry I'm interrogating you. And I said, no, I love it. Because people are so curious.
Yes.
About...
We get a lot of questions about it.
Yes, we do get a lot of questions. So I know people are curious And I don't, but I'll say this, that even like when I teach, and when you teach as well, it takes a lot to prompt people to even be brave enough to raise their hand and ask a simple question, right? So I think in a casual setting like that, where the owner had an opportunity to question me, she was on it. She was curious about the content. She was curious about co-writing. She was like the whole, how did I decide to write? Just really cool questions. And having this kind of a forum is just such a great opportunity to say, why do you guys, do what you do? Or
also, I should say, if you have a question, you don't want to send it on a public forum. We have our contact page.
Good point.
They can send it there. They can do direct messages to us on Facebook and Twitter. So, we really, really would love to hear questions.
Yeah, for sure.
What are we drinking today? What's our treat of the day?
Our treat of the day. They're heavy. Look at these lovely, beautiful things. They're actually quite lovely. Like, look at even the labels. They're just gorgeous. Yeah. So Dave got the treat this week. Yep. And I'm like,
did I get it?
I didn't purchase it. I don't know why I paused there. Strange. Tell us about these, Dave. Where are they from?
They are from Multinational here in Regina. It is like a microbrewer, right?
Yes.
And they're attached to a place called 33 1/3.
Yes.
And the reason why we went this way is last week we were looking for a venue to release our book. And I think that we are going to be doing is it official?
It's official.
Good.
It's official.
Yay!
We are going to be, our book launch for Wolf and Shepherd's Clothing is going to be at 33 1/3 / there's that word again, Multinational. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yes, but it is going to not be on the 14th, April 14th. It's been moved to the April 21st. So I think, we're excited. So come on down, have a beverage. We'll let you know how these go for us. But they're always trying new drinks, like new what do you call it? Brews?
Yes.
So,
so, concoctions.
Well, it goes both ways.
Right.
Brews for coffee and brews for beer. And it's open for teenagers. We are going to have some food in there. The only thing I will warn you about, and I'm going to see if we can try and set something up, is the parking can sometimes be a little tight. So plan ahead. You may have to go down a side street and park and everything like that.
Yeah, because it's in kind of a residential area.
Yeah, and it's near the hospital and stuff like that. It's a really I feel like it's a space that kind of fits the world of our characters.
Yes, absolutely. They would.
So that's
be
why
there.
I like
they
that.
would hang out there for sure.
I'm gonna take James. So there's I got 3
I'm not
flavors.
taking James.
Yeah.
Even though we have 2 of them.
I
want the one with the citrusy, the flowers on it.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about that. You're gonna take this one?
Are these recyclable?
I don't know.
I'm jumpy today. I drank a lot of coffee this morning.
So there was James, which is like I think a brown ale, and then this one was a milkshake of doom, tropical strawberry milkshake of doom. So that was that one.
This is Mimosa Pale Ale.
And I figured, actually, Kate assumed that you were going to do the mimosa. Yeah.
Oh, look at my sister knowing me.
Yeah. So.
Oh my lord! This is.
Oh, we almost lost her.
Things are happening. Cup. It smells delicious.
Does it?
Yes, except for the price.
It smells delicious.
I feel like we're in a frat house in college again. Like we were ever in a frat house.
Do you remember the days when we were in the frat house?
I think when we lived together.
That's when we first met, right?
I think a little bit it felt like that some days.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this smells really good.
I don't know why I've decided to embrace the cups officially. Oh, I like the fizz. All right.
It's funny because we drink everything out of here. We'd have wine. We had wine out of here when you brought the honey wine. We've had coffee out of here. Now we're having ale, beer beverages out of here, and it's like camping. You usually have one mug for everything. In the morning, you have cereal out of the cup.
We have to do porridge and cereal. Right? Yeah, put it in there and
put
eat
it in the cup.
So if there's any Saskatchewan cereal makers, we'll go to you next.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I'm going to try and find a local cereal.
I love the flavor of this.
Do you?
This is really good, yeah.
I like the smell.
The interesting
Have
thing...
you smelled it? Smell it.
Oh.
It's really fragrant.
But see, I'm not that kind of a person. I like a thick...
What is yours?
It's like a brown ale.
A brown ale.
Yeah,
okay.
So I don't know.
Mine is, what color is it?
Yours is
okay,
beer flavored.
I have to say, I'm gonna...
You're a mess. Party.
That's our
books.
biggest up to.
Yay, yes. Okay.
Yeah, because that was an event. That felt like
it was
trying to
it
decide.
dragged out way too long. So, and now we're just going to go into questions. Oh, I dug deep on this question.
Great.
Let's try and at least do 2 questions.
2 questions. Copy that.
Who is the idea generator in the duo? Oh, I got it in.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it's both of us.
Yep.
It depends. Like the characters, the original characters came from you.
Yep.
I think you may have come up with the first villain. I always find that you give an idea and then I build on it. That tends to be a way
yes.
I tend to work.
And I'm going to tell a Dave story.
Okay.
It's a good one. So one of the first times I spent extended time with you is when I drove my sister up to your farm.
Okay.
And then I went off to Waskesiu to meet a bunch of friends. And then she stayed there overnight.
Okay.
And then the 2 of you came to Waskesiu and hung out for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
And
that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. And you had one of those puzzle, those 3-dimensional puzzle problem solvers. And
is that why you gave me that for Christmas this year?
I associate all of those with you.
And you know what's funny is I've run out of steam on them so much more. Well, I don't have the patience that I used to. Well, let me I looked at yours this year and I was like, oh.
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this.
I'm going to put it in the regift box. Screw this stupid present.
Anyways.
Well, ironically, this is kind of funny. I remember you trying to solve this problem and then you threw it into the bush and almost hit a deer. There's this little bounty in the woods.
I hit a deer?
No, you almost. There's a deer. There was deer there.
There was literally a deer there?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. You didn't throw it at the deer. You just were and then there's a deer. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, it's kind of funny because, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Anyways.
But I associate problem solving with you.
Okay. So, and my solution to that problem
is chuck it in the woods.
Throw it at a deer.
So, what was the question?
Idea generator.
Right. So I do see you as the problem solver where I'll throw something out there.
I love solving problems.
Yeah. And then you kind of manage it and try and figure out what the solution might be. And even in the idea generating way, it's like when you're trying to solve it, there's a lot of times we'll be like, hey, give me an answer. What do you think this is? Why would it be that? And then you kind of pummel me with questions to see what I'll come out with, which is awesome. And sometimes you're like, sorry, I'm not asking you to be a jerk. And I never feel like that at all. I feel like you're just data collecting with your partner to see what the possible outcome could be, right? So I think we both do it because your brain is like, how are we going to figure out this problem, right? And get to the solution and find the idea. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sitting here going, well, how about this? And how about that? Based on the questions that you happen to be asking. Because I know that happens a fair bit with us in terms of, that.
I think that's interesting only, and this is really nothing to do with the question. I like more the idea of the problem solving because I find that when people talk about writer's block and everything like that, which you and I both say we hate, speaking of which, I really need to recommend Seth Godin is doing a podcast now called Akimbo.
Oh, cool.
And he did one about writer's block and how it's BS and everything like that, which is the guy that I've always kind of drawn on for a lot of that information, but I've never really been a believer in it, so it's just kind of reaffirming.
Right. You haven't been a believer in
writer's block.
Me as well. Yeah.
No. But I find that for me, and also this is coming from me going back and looking at a bunch of our old blog posts, I noticed that the problem that I think people have with writing or creation or creating or whatever it is that they think it's going to magically come to them, the answer is going to appear and everything like that. And to me, I always look at it as trying to solve the story problem, right? And sometimes the answer won't be there, or it's causing too many other problems or something like that. And it's just trying to solve the story problem. And yeah, it's like one of those things that I think if you can flip it in your head and just say, what's the problem? What are my solutions, right? And then it becomes like every other way we solve problems, right?
Right.
You have a decision to make. You want to do this or you want to do that. Well, pros and cons, whatever, right? What is the solution to that problem? Or when I did this old blog post about, you never hear about plumber's block, which is funny.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that post. I really liked it.
Seth Godin actually makes the same kind of point
about a plumber.
About no one has like plumber's block. And
actually?
I was like, yeah, I was like,
that's
oh
really cool.
wow,
you need to tell him that, Seth Godin, if you're watching.
Because I know that's exactly what this is the kind of show.
I'm going to send him the link. Never mind.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, it was because that's the thing. It's like, okay, I've got a problem. How do I solve the problem?
Yeah.
Right. And I think the same thing should apply to writing and that kind of thing.
Right. And I have to say, I've said the ego thing. We leave the ego at the door because we might come up with a really bad idea.
Yes.
And then be like, well, that really, try and build on it, and we know it isn't working. So we scrap it, but we're willing to even throw in the bad idea, right? I know someone who is paralyzed by decision in the creative realm because somebody, like, they say they're a perfectionist. And I'm like, no, I don't think you're a perfectionist. I think you suffer from, like, not
fear of making the wrong decision?
Almost low self-esteem, where they're like worried that what they come up with is going to be so crappy.
Yes.
Right? And I'm like, we might come up with crappy stuff. Heck, we have.
Yes.
Right?
I'm always
but we're not
worried
about
when is that moment going to happen, but I just keep on going.
Right. Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I think we should be mindful and critical of our work so that it's good work, but I don't think that I'm ever going to be like, I can't decide what to do because I'm worried somebody might tell me it sucks.
So this is like bringing in all my things here. So actually, Seth Godin appeared on Brian Koppelman, who I recommended last week.
Last show, yeah.
Yeah. And so Seth was on Brian's show, and they were talking about this post that Seth did about choices and decisions, right?
Okay.
And how a lot of people confuse choices with decisions, meaning choices are just a choice, right? You go left instead of right or whatever, right? But they don't really have the long-lasting consequences of decision because of these big decisions, right? Because you can change your mind, right? It doesn't have like long-lasting
choice doesn't
repercussions. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing that kind of seizes people up is that, oh my God, if I do this one choice, then I can never change that choice. And it's like, no,
it's right.
It's funny when I'm looking at all the blog posts again, we have veered so many times left to right from like one day to the next, and I think, oh man, we're not really selling our message. But I'm kind of, since not enough people are really looking at the blog, I don't care now because it's like we're trying to find our way. We're doing it live.
Well, yes.
And we're defining ourselves that way. Like
it's a process, though.
It is totally a process.
To come up with the brand and our persona and what we believe in and how to hone in all that stuff to make it be the thing that we want it to be.
And with the blog, I noticed that the one thing I've been doing is there's now a section for, and I know this is going to spill.
I know.
You're like watching
sitting
it,
on
right?
Your thigh. Your cup of brown beer is sitting on your thigh. So
there's a section for news, but a lot of what we posted a lot in the past, I really think are just us thinking problems through.
Yeah.
Reflections. Oh, This is a moment. This is something we we learned from or whatever.
And I think that's really good, though.
Yeah, and I kind of like having that open space. It's not like the priority of the blog or anything like that.
But it's there for people who want to be like, what are they up to?
It's this
what are their
weird,
thoughts?
it's this kind of just weird dumping space. And I almost feel like there's going to be another level that we're going to add where it's like big essays, right? Like, oh, this is something...
That's cool.
A bit more of an article that
just revealed that
we
to
share.
Me. That's what I like.
I'm just kind of like everything else. I think it's an idea that I would probably try and test out and everything.
And I like that idea too. So, cool.
So I've noticed how switching up our website has changed that space so much more interesting. Mm-hmm. So
cool.
Yeah. So
there we go. That was the idea generator
question.
Wow is right.
Wow, do we even have time for another one?
Your call.
Kate's going to yell at us if we do. Well, let's just keep this short and sweet.
All right.
Do you want to do another question? I like talking. That's the trouble.
He does like talking. I like talking too.
Do we dare do another one? I really want to.
Why don't we try and keep it a short answer and see what happens? Well, it'll be like number 13 and that'll
my God.
Oh, is it?
If it opens up that 23. Nope. We're close though. Is there someone besides each other that you ask questions to problem solve? Oh, this is awesome.
It is awesome and easy to answer.
Serendipity. And I'm not one to go with serendipity. Shh. Let's talk about the serendipity question. Okay, what was the question?
The question was, who do you talk to besides me when you're trying
Kate,
to speak? Of course.
Always.
Yes.
Always. Actually, and sometimes my kids. This isn't really talking to anyone, but I think that my walks by myself in my own head is totally the person that I talk to, and it's besides Kate. Actually, Kate doesn't really want to listen to the answer, the questions. God,
she sounds like
when it comes about story.
Partner.
Yeah.
That's
because when it comes to story questions, she doesn't care about that stuff. And I don't like giving, because to me it's a secret between us.
Yes.
And lately, I've been starting to open up to Heather, our editor and
we're
publisher.
so deep in with the books that
we need to almost
let her know what's happening.
Can we get away with this kind of thing?
Yeah, that's true. I often go to my students.
Yes.
And there was one time we wanted to sound cool. Lord help us. That's a bridge. That's a hurdle. And so it was really cool because I was like, hey
we
guys,
really need to get away from teenagers after this series.
There's this stat that when teachers who work with young children for extended years and years, decades, their IQ drops unless they do something to maintain that kind of brain activity. Their IQ, so you'll be walking around with a backwards baseball hat and your pants down.
What up, my dudes?
Saw, bro. Saw, dude. No. So I often turn to my students if I need some information because they are young adult novels, right? Yeah. So to get a really good perspective, they are and they're such a great focus group because they're forced. Not really forced, but I'll ask, hey guys, if I wanted to say
and
this,
I will turn to them too.
Well, yeah, and you'll send me a message during the day and say, hey, do you want to ask the guys this? And so I forward the questions to the students in front of me. So they are definitely people that I turn to. And then when there's logistic questions, we have a constable at school, and I
logistic or legal.
Well, anything that has to do with policing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll turn to the constable and ask.
Yeah, we have our group of people who always shows up at the back.
Yeah.
Of acknowledgements. Yeah. That's okay, thank you. I turn to a guy to talk about how do you deal with cleaning up bodies. Right. And he is in a business that covers that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
I know.
So it's interesting. The people that come out and help you out.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess those would be the main people for us.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
That was
Let us move on because we got to keep this hopping. Let's try at least 30 minutes.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I always never go first.
The
only trouble about having beer is it makes me belchy, right? And so I'm trying to do the show I'm like...
The quiet burp?
Yeah, I'm like...
I'm not burping.
I'm not doing anything. Okay, so the book I picked was What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami. I'm hoping I'm saying the name right. Andrew's saying it before the show started.
They're making fun of me.
And she was saying it in like what to me sounded Greek.
Maybe it did.
And it's she was like convinced that it sounded better that way.
I was,
So
authentically Japanese.
So I just put it down. I did the thing. So I really like this. I actually like this a bit more than some of his writing. Only because it's really interesting. First of all, it's a lot about just running and long distance. Like, he's the ultra marathon guy who does, the big marathons. He's the guy who did he did the actual marathon route in Greece.
Oh, cool.
And I forget from where to where, right? It's marathon to... Where is it from?
Athens?
Athens? But anyways, but he did it like in, I think he did it in the summer. So it was like killer day, right?
Yeah. Oh.
And also he talks a lot about how the Greeks were not, like, they were mad at him for running on the side of the road and everything.
Yeah, they're not really, and it's funny because I've run in Greece because I run here too. And here, there's this camaraderie in running.
Yeah.
Like, you're running on the path and somebody passes, you give a little wave or a hi or a nod and you keep going. And so that's a habit for me from here. So when I go to Greece and I'm running and I'm like running, somebody passes me, I'll nod or I'll give a hi and they frown because they're like, I don't know you.
The other runners do?
Yeah. Because that doesn't happen there.
Interesting.
Unless, you know what, it did happen one time. I was going up a mountain with a couple of friends, Maria and Dimitra. And the mountaineers that were running were very friendly. Okay. But kind of just the city people who run in the parks and along the waterfront.
Apostoli was running and he was like, hey, I'll see you
yes,
on the way down after I've reached the top and come back. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that wild man.
Anyways.
Cool.
Okay, so I really love it. It's really interesting about running if you're a runner, but also it's interesting because he talks a bit about writing, but it's more about the headspace, that meditative space and dealing with the challenge of going the long distance, whether it's about running or it's about writing or running kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, it's really it's interesting. I liked it. I think it was the first of his books that I read. Only because it was about running and he was a writer, and that intrigued me. So, yeah,
cool, awesome. My book, I was waiting. I thought I might want to do it last, like on the last episode.
On 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't. I took it today.
Okay.
And this book in 2008.
Oh, is this the one that I'm supposed to read?
Well,
it is the one I'm supposed to read.
It's Lighthouse Keeping, all one word, by Jeanette Winterson. And this book, back in, it was more like 2006 when MSN was still a thing. Did you actually?
Yeah, on my book.
Oh no, save the book. When MSN was still a thing, a friend of mine had posted a comment and said, I can't even remember the exact quote, but I wrote it down in a journal, and I remember the journal I wrote it in even. And it was something about, we rarely get to touch magic. I'll spend the rest of my life searching for that moment. And that comment moved me, so I asked him, I said, what's this about? And he said, I just read this beautiful book. And I said, what was it called? And he said, Lighthouse Keeping by Jeanette Winterson. And I said, okay, moving along. I noted it, and then I moved along. And I was at chapters in the bargain book section. And I was wearing this seahorse at the time, and it's smaller.
Oh, you planned for this one.
Well, no, I actually put this on, and then I was like, "Which should I?" That's why I was going to read this last.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this one today. So I'm looking at the bargain section. I'm like, that's a pretty seahorse. That sounds familiar. And it turned out it was the book that was recommended by my friend. So I picked it up. I'm not a fast reader. I said that on the last episode.
The seahorse was in his pocket.
And this is my literary work. It is so beautiful.
This is your go-to.
It's the book. It's like poetry. It's so beautiful to me. this is how writing is sometimes, though. It's not always to everyone. But I read it in a day. And
Really?
I fell in love with it. And then I recommended it to someone and they said, can I borrow it? And I said, okay, I'll get it for you tomorrow. And then I went to Chapters and I bought a copy because I didn't want to part with my copy, and I gave it to them. And I probably did that 6 times because I refused to.
So you're going to buy me?
I don't even know if they make it anymore. That was like a decade ago, which is crazy that it was a decade ago.
I'm going to have to look.
But I just found this book so beautiful and so poetic. And when we talk about literary works and writing that literary piece.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, you always refer to this one.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I'd read it.
Yeah, it's really, and it's not very big. It's not a commitment. It's a novella, essentially. It's not big, but it's really
it's
beautiful.
230 pages,
What?
Ange.
Says the person who wrote 400 and something 3 times. It is, too. Well, how about that? Anyhow, that's my book of the week.
All right.
It's beautiful. And I'm not going to tell you to read it. I read it.
Now you don't even know what to say for next week.
No, I'm probably
your
going to
book.
get something really funny and silly.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So yeah, that's my book of the week.
All right. All right, so that's it for the show.
Thanks for watching us.
You can contact, or you can find out more about us at cunosandgane.com.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
YouTube. Yeah. And do you have a viewer of the week?
No. Holy cow, I lost my breath. No, I don't. I did, and then they went away.
Did you?
I like
viewer or reader of the week. We have viewer of the week, but I feel like we've been kind of focusing on it's been like a reader,
shout out to somebody.
Reader/viewer.
Yeah, just a shout out to somebody. Do you have anybody you want to shout out to?
Nothing. I'm blanking. I'm enjoying the beer, I think, is my trouble.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
yeah.
Okay, let's just move it along. We're moving along.
Yeah.
If you want to be a viewer of the week, then you have to submit questions. So we're thinking about
hi.
you. You're fresh on our minds. So thank you for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye for the last episode of season 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're not. Are we going to celebrate?
Yeah.
Okay.
With beer?
We already had beer.
Uh...
Okay. Bye.